Over the next several hours, Paul drew spirals, many of them. Using the mysterious Greek symbols and the golden number it stood for, he could recognize the lines of geometric energy that held all things together: faces, galaxies, art. But it hadn't solved his problem. All the pieces of the puzzle were in front of him, like mixed up words in a sentence. This mysterious woman was going to steal a painting from the National Gallery. All of this was clues to which one, but none of this could tell him which one. Now that Paul had learned the secret of the golden number, he couldn't help feeling that those 5 red dots on his map were not random at all. Paul didn't know what he hoped to accomplish by tracing the dots. He was hoping his intuition and this jumble of data would lead him to the next step. He couldn't help wondering if the lines of energy behind all this art could be found in the path she'd led him on. Somehow, that Greek symbol and the golden number it represented was hidden in those dots. Almost drawn by the forces of his own intuition, Paul began to apply the principles of the golden number and the lines of energy that held all things together to the path he had followed in the city. And he was astounded to discover that in connecting the dots he had traced, he had created the framework of a golden spiral. Paul didn't even bother to use a compass to draw what he could already see. He had developed such a connection with it all, he knew exactly what to do, like his pencil knew exactly where to go. As Paul stared at the spiral he had drawn, he knew that it wasn't mysticism. She had deliberately placed the 5 red boxes where Paul would find them, and eventually learn how to connect them together. Paul wasn't surprised that she'd left the city. His lesson was over. There was no reason for her to stay. Paul couldn't help feeling that he was not getting any closer to this woman. Rather, she was merely taking him to the scene of the crime. Paul was used to following obscure clandestine instructions from his superiors. It was the nature of their overcooked methodology. After he settled in, Paul reestablished the location of his target. He was sure she'd be waiting for him, of course. This was no longer a hunt as far as Paul was concerned. She wasn't running from him. She was leading him. And she wasn't about to go anywhere until she was sure that he'd had a chance to catch up. He would never tell them that.